Hey friends, it's Ashley, and today I am here with a layout in my traveler's notebook, and I am using the Studio Calico January um, Fresh Start Traveler's Notebook Kit and also the Documenter Kit. And so I'm going to get started here. I printed a circle photo because I wanted to use some inspiration from the Documenter Kit here. The Traveler's Notebook insert is from the Traveler's Notebook Kit, and then I also got the Documenter Kit for this month. And so I'm just going to kind of go through it and show you a little bit of what's in there. You have the stamp set. These little chipboard pieces and the stickers are kind of where I got my inspiration for this layout to do some circles. You also have some letter stickers, and you have the journaling cards. These are the 3x4 size, and there's also 4x6. There is another clear 4x6 journaling card, and then you also have the little die cut words there that I didn't take out yet. But I'm going to get started, and what I actually did was I cropped this photo into a circle in my Adobe Illustrator program, and then I put it into Silhouette Studio to print with the registration marks, and then I put that back through my Cameo to cut the circle shape. I didn't have a punch for this because it's like a 3-inch size photo, but I did want that little white kind of border around my photo, so that's why I did it that way in Silhouette Studio. And I took the inspiration from these little pieces. I liked the circles that were in these chipboard pieces and the stickers. And so I'm going to kind of use these to embellish the page on the right hand side. And so I liked having the different size circles too. My photo is a little bit bigger, and then the chipboard pieces are smaller than that, and then the sticker circles are a little bit even smaller than that. So I'm just going to kind of randomly place these to create kind of a scattered look. I wanted it to kind of just be a decorative look on this page. These grid pages are really good because you can embellish them a lot more if you want to. You can add a lot of stamping. You can make it a really clean and simple look if you want to by just adding maybe 1 or 2 things over there. I like that it just gives you kind of a neutral background, so you can kind of use it to create whatever you want. And so I'm starting out with the chipboard circles. I used 3 of them just to kind of create like a visual triangle there on the layout. And they say that one at the top says right now, the yellow one says stay focused, and the one at the bottom says there's a season for everything. And now I'm going to go and start putting some of the little stickers, and these mostly just have shapes. There's the heart that I'm using. I put the ampersand, and there's also the little star, and there is one that does have the word yes on it. So most of these are just like little images. There's some that have patterns on them, and then there are some like the little kind of dark edged one there that you can see that you could stamp on if you wanted to. And so I'm just kind of figuring out the placement of where I want these to go, and just getting that base look, and then that way I can go in and add some other things once I get all of that where I want it to go. And these are just some kind of die cut words. There are 2 in this pack. They say start and love, and I'm going to use the one that says love for part of my title on the layout. I had them all kind of tangled up, so I had to get them apart. And here I'm just kind of showing you that you can see some stamping that bled through from my other side. So I'm going to use this word to kind of cover that up. It kind of is a little too big to put across horizontally, so I decided to kind of put it on a tilt, and that makes it fit really well, and it also helps to cover up that little stamping area. And I like the contrast of the horizontal straight lines with the tilt on the title. And so I'm just going to get that in place here. And I do go back later on and add a little bit of liquid adhesive just because I didn't put my tape runner all over the back of that, just to make sure it stays in place. And this is completing my title. This little chipboard piece says living in the moment, and I'm using that to cover up a little bit more of that stamping. So I just added that piece right there where you could see the heart kind of bleeding through from the other side. And so it gave me my title, and it served a purpose in covering up that little bit of ink from the other side. So, and you can still see a little bit in a couple of places, but I wasn't too worried about it. It pretty much covered what I wanted it to. And so now I'm going to go through the 3x4 cards. You can see that there are a lot of these. They have cute phrases, they have cute patterns. There's lots of different colors. I really like the colors in the January kit. And this is the one that I chose to work with on my layout, but I do go through the other ones just to make sure there wasn't another one that I wanted to use. I like to look at all of them just to make sure that there's not a better one than what I chose to begin with, but I'll definitely be using these on other layouts. And so I do decide to go with the heart, and I want to pull it off the page because I'm going to add some stamping to it. And this is one of the add-on stamps. This is the Love add-on by In a Creative Bubble for January. And so I'm just going to use the little circle here and add that to the center of the heart. And one thing I like about these journaling cards is that you don't have to use them as is. I'm not a Project Life scrapbooker, so I don't use them in Project Life spreads. But a lot of times I like to actually cut them apart. This one would be cute if you wanted to cut the heart shape out. Sometimes there are like little words and phrases on the other ones that I like to cut apart. So just different ways that you can use those in your projects. But this one did work as is for what I was doing today, so I did leave it in the rectangle shape. And so I just stamped that with some black ink, and I just used the little chamois from Freckled Fawn to clean that off. I like to get the ink off of my stamps just so it doesn't get extra messy when I'm putting those back up. And I do like to use black ink a lot in my traveler's notebooks. Sometimes I will use color, but most of the time I like to use black just because of the contrast that it gives against your other colors and things that you're using in your notebook. And so I just added my little stamp pad behind this page. I'm going to stamp right on the page here with this little sentiment that's also from that add-on stamp. And it says, "I suppose you'll do," which I thought was a cute little sentiment. And I'm just kind of figuring out right where I want that and getting it added to my acrylic block. And I'm also using the black for that. And it was curved a little bit, so I just used my finger to push that down and get it in place. And I do make a little boo-boo here. I didn't realize that some of the ink got on the bottom of my acrylic block, and it accidentally got on that chipboard piece there. And I do try to wipe it off. I thought maybe I could wipe it off with my chamois, but since I was using the archival ink, it would not come off. It was pretty much there. So I am going to use an embellishment later on to cover that up because I didn't like that on there. If I was doing kind of a messy, grungy layout, I wouldn't have minded it, but everything else was so clean that I did not want that ink on there. So now I'm going to get my journaling card added here, and I'm going to kind of tuck it behind the word love. And since I had just a little bit of adhesive on this word, I was able to kind of pop those letters up and just tuck that behind there. And I wanted it kind of centered where I had the same amount of space above and below where those horizontal lines were on that page. And so I got that in place. And I wanted to go back and add one of these little banner pieces here. This one says, "Look at this." And I wanted it to go at the top of my journaling card here. So I just add that right there at the top of it. And these little chipboard pieces are not super thick. If you didn't want to have that much dimension, you could actually peel some of the layers of the chipboard off to make those a little bit thinner. If you were doing that, I would suggest adhering it with liquid adhesive instead of trying to use your tape runner on the back of it, because once you peel that chipboard off, it will just continue to kind of like get on your tape runner and stick to it, and it creates a mess. So that's one good tip when you are trying to adhere chipboard that you've pulled the sticky part off of. And then these are just some little asterisk kind of puffy stickers. And I wanted to bring in a different shape, and I like the colors that these have. And I'm also using a mix of the sizes. These are two of the small ones, and I did use this one to cover up that ink that I got on my chipboard piece. Sometimes the best place for an embellishment is to cover a mistake, and that worked out perfectly right there. And now I'm grabbing a couple of the larger ones. And I used a different color for each one just to bring in 4 different colors. The more color, the better, I say. So I just wanted to have all of those colors there. And since I had one overlapping the chipboard piece at the bottom, I overlapped the one at the top too. And those are really sticky, so I wasn't worried about it coming off or anything. I think it will stay secure and not fall off. So I did not have to add any extra adhesive to that little piece there. So now I'm looking back at the chipboard, and I wanted to use one of these little arrows just to kind of have it point toward the right hand side just to show that kind of the heart and love were for the photo that's on that side. And I do want to add my date, so I grabbed my Heidi Swap roller date stamp, and I'm going to change my little stamp pad here. I had a Shamil roller date stamp that I had been using, but 2018 was the end of that one, and I had to have a new one. So I found this one for Heidi Swap that started with 2019, and so I've got a few years to go on this one. I just love to have a roller date stamp because that is just one of the easiest ways to add your date to your projects. And I pretty much use these on my layouts and my traveler's notebook layouts all the time because I don't really journal much on my scrapbook layouts, but I do like to have the date, and I like to have the date in my traveler's notebook as well. So these are just really easy to go and add the date really quickly to your projects. And I decided I wanted to use the little today banner. It's a banner shape also, but I didn't want it to be the actual banner shape. I just wanted to use the word today. So I trimmed that out, and I just saved the other little piece. You never know if you might want to use that somewhere else. So I just put that back on the sticker sheet to save for later if I wanted to use it on another project. And the last thing I wanted to do was add some journaling. I do actually journal a little bit more in my traveler's notebook. And so I typed out my journaling. I actually got the We Are Memory Keepers typewriter for Christmas, and so I'm loving using that. And so I typed out my journaling, which says spending the afternoon in Ocean Springs and snapping some cute photos downtown. And I'm just going to place this and then use my tape runner to adhere that. And I did want to mention before I go about the Documenter kit. You can save $10 off of a new 6 or 12-month subscription of the Documenter kit at Studio Calico this month if you use the code Ashley10. And I'll leave this information down below in the description box also. This goes through to January 31st, so you can sign up for it this month and get $10 off. This is one of their biggest discounts on this, so it's a great time to take advantage of it. And like I said, there is a waiting list for the Traveler's Notebook kit, but you could get signed up for that. And I think there is a waiting list for the stamp subscription also, if you're interested in that and want to sign up for that also. It never hurts to sign up if you're interested, so that way you'll go ahead and get put on the list, and when it becomes available, you'll get a notification to let you know that it is there. So make sure you do that while you're over there if you're interested in picking it up. And so I'm just going to get my last little piece on here, and I kind of like that it's split up, and that really finishes things up. You'll see the completed layout here and a close-up. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave me a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, I would love for you to become a new subscriber, and I'll see you next time.